Okay, let me get to these women. I've been trying to get to this forever. These ladies, this is last week's news, okay? Touches on Andrew Tate. Feminism gone mask off, and the younger people know it, okay? They see through the insanity. They see the insanity firsthand, especially the young men, Gen Z. This is from the far-left female-run outlet The Skim, reporting last Friday the 2nd. Who might have felt personally attacked by the Barbie movie? So imagine the ladies, right? I don't know if anybody here ever saw the Barbie movie. The Gen Z boys, they call them. Some of them are men. Many of them are men. Yesterday meaning the day before, Thursday, the 1st of February, new data showed that the Gen Z boys and men, meaning young men and men, grown men, more likely than older baby boomers. I mentioned this in Hake News, and American Anchor Baby mentioned this too on his show last week, I believe, on Friday, I think. Older baby boomers, Gen Z boys and men, more likely than older baby boomers to think/know that feminism has caused more harm than good. Feminism just means equality. Men and women are equal. What does that even mean? Doesn't mean anything. As Vox Day pointed out, I cracked. I'm growing. Drink a sip of water out of my The Hake Report La 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 cup. I'll tell you about La 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 if I think of it. Vox Day has been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show a couple of times. He said that this all men are created equal thing from the Declaration of Independence is not anywhere in the Bible, and it doesn't show up anywhere in nature. There is no equality. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Except for so-called equal treatment under the law, whatever. But no, there's no equality. And even then, you're not going to get it. It's not going to get it. It's just a nice statement that is not true. Researchers polled about 3,700 people in the United Kingdom. Okay, found 35% of men between the ages of 16 and 19 think it is more difficult to be a man than a woman. So 35% of men, 16 to 29, think it's more difficult to be a man than a woman. I'm not one of those people. I'm plenty happy being a man. Got my short hair. Don't have to. Well, you don't have to put on makeup. Don't have that female time, as that Mexican caller on the Jesse Lee Peterson show the other day said. I'm fine with that statement. But anyway, 1/5, 20%, not very high. Only 1/5 had a positive opinion of self-proclaimed misogynist. Oh, really? Is he really a self-proclaimed misogynist? Andrew Tate. You guys heard of Andrew Tate? I don't know if I've ever mentioned Andrew Tate on the Hake Report before, but I've heard about him on American Anchor Baby over the months, and maybe on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, maybe on Joel Friday TV, not sure. But I've, seen bits and pieces of him here and there around social media and on different clips and things. He has more than 8 million followers on X, by the way, that Andrew Tate guy. Cobra Tate, I think, is his X. Not promoting him, just saying that's what it is. Among those more likely to follow Andrew Tate are people from ethnic minority backgrounds. Ethnic minority backgrounds, meaning Hispanics, non-whites, supposedly. Somehow they say whites are not an ethnic minority, even though they're a global minority. I think they're like 10% of the country, of the world. But anyway, Asians, blacks. Andrew Tate himself is part black. He's like British and part black, I think. Something. He has this accent. Kickboxer. And then he got into some crazy things. Some of you guys know more than I do. More than 1/3 agreeing he raises important points about real threats to male identity and gender roles. Raises important points about real threats to male identity and gender roles. Well, without even having heard, if you've never heard Andrew Tate speak, but you hear that that 1/3 of people, Gen Zers, I guess, men, agree that he raises important points about real threats to male identity and gender roles, he may be on to have some valid complaints. Kind of like they say the white nationalists are hateful. When you hear their complaints, some of their complaints are valid. One of the only things that they're wrong about is anger, if they're angry. Because anger is the big lie that everybody swallows, and it turns them liberal, it twists them, it makes them into turncoats and backstabbers and petty and pathetic and divided. Even in the Christian church in the New Testament, that division, that anger. Get rid of all anger, the Bible says. Anger does not bring about the righteous life God requires. Tate, I've heard a little bit from him. I listened to an interview with Andrew Tate with a psychotherapist of all things. This guy sounded like such a woman sometimes, but he was saying some sensible things. Both of them, really, Tate and this psychotherapist. I don't know the guy's name offhand. I'll share it sometime from my social media. So they talked about how, the hatred of men, encouraging men to be weak and pathetic. He brought up one of the unsavory things that this Andrew Tate fellow has done. He's been banned from a bunch of things. Supposedly he was the most Googled man in the world for a minute there, a while there. Tate's voice makes me laugh. He sounds goofy. Pretty good speaker, though. He presents himself well. He spent time in prison. 3 months in prison. Did supposedly 2,000 push-ups during this time. Calls himself top G. He was a sort of pretty successful, actually, kickboxer. Probably would not beat Jake Paul in a boxing match, so that never happened. Jake Paul. Not that based, but talented white man, YouTuber turned boxer. Everybody hates him. But Andrew Tate, what else about him? So he did these unsavory things. I guess he ran this business where these females, these so-called women, grown adult females, were doing these dirty video things or something like that. Person to person with what he called lonely young men. And the way he justified it in this interview that I heard was that these men they're so lonely and they would probably have committed suicide had I not provided them this thing that takes their money and these women make money off of them. I've made more women millionaires than most people. I've made more women millionaires than men, he said. Now he acts like he wants to help men become solid men, self-sufficient, get out of the matrix, so-called, he calls it, the matrix. So I don't really buy his justification of doing this business with the dirty video women and taking the money from the sinners who are using them for the pornography stuff. But hey, he's not doing that anymore, whatever. I found him to be a normal guy, no more, with more important points to bring up than the average liberal or the average points that you'll hear on the mainstream media, that's for sure. He's kind of a la Jordan Peterson, except less breakable. Shout out to Jordan B. Peterson. But he breaks down a little too easily for my taste. I'm not saying that you should follow this Andrew Tate guy. If you listen to him, that's great. That's fine. If not, that's fine. It's great. But he's nobody to hate. These women acting like this is well, they don't say that it's this horrible thing. But it reminds me of what I showed you. The young men And the young women are going off the deep end liberal, and the young men are already quite liberal, and they've been getting more and more liberal, but some of them are going a little bit less liberal. Some of them even dipping into the conservative, even to being considered so-called conservative by some metric that I saw recently. I showed it to you guys a week or two ago. So yeah, the divide is going crazy. Yes, the women are going out of control. So please, this fear-mongering about Donald Trump, this fear-mongering about Tucker Carlson, he's a white nationalist. Give me a break. The fear-mongering about white nationalists themselves. These are just normal people. More honest, by and large, than your average mainstream person. Conservative, so-called conservative or liberal. Republican or demon rat. Or whatever. They're going after the best people. So, it's a female-minded, worrying your pretty little head mess. So that's that.